Hello, and welcome back, fellow monster hunters and dragonologists and artists. I just wanted to get back into making videos for my kind of reinterpretation, redesigning of some very old, well-known books called Dragonology. Um, you might know them from reading them when you were a kid. So I know I did. Yeah, those were kind of amazing how like how they designed the dragons. I guess as kids you see that or you want to believe in, things like dragons and fairies and stuff like that for a while. And then I guess you get older later and you don't really have time for that as much anymore because you're going off to work, college. But the point of it is because I'm an artist now, like to be a concept artist, maybe an animator, maybe do some designs for like games and movies. The early on from that time, things like Dragonology helped to show how you could design, let's say, either fictional creatures or like dinosaurs or something out of a legend, and you could almost theorize using your mind, your intellect. You could exercise how would it be designed if it was realistic. Um, what does it need to be practical? Is it maybe just something like a just like an unknown animal or dinosaur that's kind of can go into the topic of modern day biology, zoology. There are creatures like the okapi and certain giant ground sloths and extinct or near endangered like lizards, alligators, and fish out there in the world. So it can kind of almost go into that category if you think like maybe the coelacanth is I don't know if it's endangered. It might be considered endangered now because there's so few of them so deep in the ocean and they're very old. Just like the Greenland, you look up Greenland sharks, those can live for I think 1 to 2 centuries, or maybe 500 years. I have to fact check that. But just stuff like that. Like when you're designing creatures, from an artist's perspective, you want to bring in reality, things that are already real, and just information or data from if this is based off a legend, data from the legend, and try to incorporate how it might be seen in real world now or in the past. So for this right here, I was designing. You can see in the top left corner, I did kind of my interpretation of a Chinese long kind of dragon. Or maybe a Japanese long? No, it's Chinese long because it's got, according to Dragonology, it's got more than 3 or 4 fingers. So. And then in the center, I'm doing my own kind of creature. It's not exactly like a lantern worm or a lindworm. My idea for this creature was that it would be able to crawl or swim through the mud and swamps. So almost like a kind of like a giant salamander, but more like a giant like mud crawler or like mud eel. And it just go through the swamps, hunting for stuff, anything that got lost or trapped in the swamps, or if there's any like fish and smaller worms, it'll go after those. As you can see, it's got legs, but they're not vestigial legs, and they're also not like long arms to reach grab its food. They're more like to help it move around. You can see as its main source of propulsion would most likely be its its oar-like tail, and sort of like a little bit like salamander, a little bit like lungfish for the design. And then you can see there's some extra, just like extra, like ridges, horned ridges that put on the outer uh, edge of the creature. My idea for that was those were like maybe a way that it could either breathe, or like how some snakes have like a extra sensory organ besides their nose. They have extra sensory organs. So either like be able to hear, breathe, or smell when it's like hiding under the muddy waters and the swamps. So you when you look when you're looking around, you'd think it was maybe a log, like a piece of wood or roots, wading in the water, has head up. You'd be less suspected that it was a this giant worm that's gonna jump out and try to eat you. So, from that, a bit more like the Monster Hunter games. I've been playing, I think Monster Hunter World or Rise on Steam. Got that game on Steam, and it's kind of fun actually. Um, I've known about the Monster Hunter franchise for a while, but I just haven't had a chance to get back into it for a long time. But now I'm trying to, when I have any time off from college or work. Um, so I don't, yeah, going on with a little bit of digital photo bashing, because I do not believe in using AI or making AI art. I think that is wasting your brain power and you're allowing it to replace you. You are you're turning away from what you should be doing, which is thinking creatively and allowing your abilities to express. You're taking it to an AI and you're putting it in a prompt and it's doing it for you and you're missing the journey. A lot of times when you go, it's like going out to study or going out abroad or signing up for an internship or doing a little bit of travel. You're going on a journey and you're growing mentally and physically. You're getting stronger and smarter. And just doing AI and being like, hey AI, generate a giant frog, scaly frog with like wings and do it in this art style, and you're cheating yourself out of studying and you're not getting the study exercise, the journey, and I don't like that. Alright, so coming up soon, I wanted to share a amazing artist. I got some gradients from his Gumroad. It's from Peter Moorbacher's Gumroad. It's his, and you probably have seen his art on Art and Instagram or DeviantArt. You can get these on his Gumroad. I'll try to link that in there. And it's called his Angel Gradients. He's got some free gradients for Krita. And I love so much that he put these out here for us to use, because with gradients you can kind of play around with how you want your art to look. It can change and like reshape it and allow you to get a different perspective. But basically he's got a video also explaining on how to use these. All I did was download them in the Krita Manage resource. And then you'll go and you'll add, after you got the gradients in there, you'll go and add, you right click on a layer, you're going to go to add, one second guys, one second. You're gonna click on the little down arrow near the plus sign, and you're going to add what's called a filter layer. And then when that pops up, you're gonna click on it, and then you can use in the presets the angel gradients that designed, and I love those gradients. It's that easy. You just add them, add it like over like a over filter layer, and just kind of play around with whichever one you want, see how which one looks best. And dude, it is amazing. I wish I knew about these sooner. I wish I knew how to proficiently use the gradient maps like this. Saved me. It probably would have saved me a good amount of time before with some of my other art and paintings. So I love this. Good job, Peter. And thank you for sharing them. But I think that's about all. Um, that's about all I've got to share with you guys. Thank you for coming along and watching. If you've been subscribed to me for this long, all the way up to this point for so long, thank you so much for watching and sticking around. Uh, I'll periodically share some of my art, and I do need to finish. There's some video game playthroughs that I need to finish. There's a few. I'm gonna try to do that. Some of them are really hard. But yeah, thanks for watching. And again, let's make some amazing, let's paint some amazing monsters and dragons. Bye.